In this video, we're going to talk about this wild Tiger Woods clip where he's making some interesting motions. Stick around to the end and see if we agree with what he's working on.
All right, Milo, so leading up to the 2019 Masters, Tiger wins. I mean, it was awesome to see him come back and do that, right? He kind of had a couple feels, though, going into that season and then the rest of 2019 before everything kind of started to slow down for him. But and it really had to do with what his hips and rear were doing, right?
For sure.
He talked about activating the glutes, right? You might have heard that comment before. So we got the video up here, right? And you can see Tiger's kind of working on this move where he gets to the top and his first move down, he basically just sticks his rear out and his chest goes down. Right? So I mean, there's very few people that have been in the mind of Tiger Woods, but what do you think your interpretation of that move would be?
I would guess he's just trying to make sure he creates enough depth with his pelvis. So he's getting his pelvis far enough back behind him so he's got room to play with as he turns through the shot. Because his tendency is to have his belt kind of firing more up in the way, which causes him to have more side bend, and it's harder on his already bad back.
Right. And one other thought, or one other feel that he's alluded to, and we'll post that video as well, in an interview with Golf TV, he talked about this trail hip really wanting to get deep in the backswings.
Right. It's trying to get this hip deeper, and then from there, keep the left hip deep as well.
So, this is something we've talked about before on these videos, is sort of getting that right hip deep to start with, so it sets you up to get the left hip deep.
For sure.
Right?
So in that video, he's just talking about getting his pelvis as far out of his own way, and then the other side of his pelvis is far out of his way so he can turn and hit it and not get bunched up like this, because if you've got a back that is fused, we really don't want to put a lot of bend into it.
Yeah.
And the bend we want to have happen from a lot higher up in the segments. We want maybe from the rib cage up to be bending, but the lower back to be really in a stable state.
Right.
And so I would say that that's probably what the way he's feeling it. Now, what it looks like, it's probably not perfect. But when we put it in motion at speed, it looks pretty good.
I mean, I would take it.
yeah, me too. I would take that swing any day of the week. He won the Masters with it.
Right.
But in the video we see, it looks like he's almost arching his back a little bit, getting his chest up. And generally, I like the lower spine to stay a little bit more in flexion, a little bit less of the arch look, a little bit more like of contracted abs.
Yeah.
Keeps things more stable, and it looks like he's kind of almost stretching his stomach out.
Yeah.
As he's changing directions.
Well, off camera, I asked you about this. Like, it looked like he was trying to go, from flexion, extension, more extension, like chest opening up
like
more.
He's hinging his hips,
right,
but extending his back. Right. But in his real swing, he doesn't do that, and we really wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
So,
and what you said was basically you get your upper spine extended at this point, and then as you get flexed in your hips and you're bent over more, you actually you get back more to a rounded state, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what kind of you would prefer to see, right?
Yeah, most really good players are getting more into flexion. Their pelvis is actually not this way relative to their upper body. Everything compresses into the ground, but the pelvis doesn't go more down than the chest does.
Yeah.
You don't see that much extension in the lumbar spine like that.
So one other thing I noticed when he was doing this video, or I guess he wasn't doing his video, he was practicing on the driving range, when he did that sort of sit down or sit almost back, right, and chest down, the club, his hands dropped pretty significantly and the club was pretty vertical, right? So to me, like, is that move really producing a shallowing motion necessarily? Or,
well, not if he did it exactly like it was in slow motion there.
Right, so it's like feel versus real, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess this kind of segues into when you look at that motion, Do you think that there's maybe a better way he could have gone about getting into the ground, I guess, per se, or?
Possibly, but what a person feels to get the body to
Right.
do what they want it to do and what actually they do sometimes is different. And you know, Tiger, he's pretty good, and I'm not going to question him with what he needs to feel, because I've seen him do some crazy stuff with his golf swing. You know, a while back we saw him making practice swings like that, and then he's hitting these little tight draws. It's like, if he actually did that, what would the ball do? Well, it would be a slice.
Right.
So, you know, what he needs to feel to get his body to do what he wants it to do, you know, it might not actually match up with what he is really trying to make it do.
Right.
So.
Okay, so let's say for our viewers at home, they're looking to get more into the ground and keep their chest more on top of the ball, opening up, because that's one thing in the video you didn't really see Tiger do a lot. He was still kind of closed as he did it, right? But in other videos you've talked about being closed for the first part of transition, not
well, you don't spin your upper body right out.
Right.
For the first little bit in transition, we want our lower half to basically pull our upper half along. And so with what he was doing there, his upper body is going to come along.
Right.
And it obviously it panned out to some pretty good results for a few weeks there. He was playing really good.
Right. So for us at home that want to work on this movement of getting sort of the chest down and falling into the ground, what would be sort of the first step for me?
So I want you to really feel like as you're changing directions, it's both your chest and your belt buckle are coming down, kind of at an equal rate. So you don't really want to feel like you're arching your back. Like if you stayed up like this and now arch your back down, we don't really want that.
Okay.
I'd rather see both come down kind of together.
Okay. And still, like you were saying, I'm still somewhat closed, and then up to this point is when I start to square off, would you say? Kind of when the club is...
About the time you reach left arm parallel, from then on your chest is really catching up.
Okay.
With your lower half.
Gotcha.
And by just post impact, the belt or the pelvis and the chest have turned about the same amount. At impact, generally the pelvis is turned slightly more, but just barely post impact they catch up, and then the chest is winning the race because it goes farther around generally than the belt does, unless you want to fall down.
All right. Well, I think Tiger played well after that move.
He played really good.
I think he played at Memorial and he shot like something crazy through 11 holes, maybe 7 under or something. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Crazy Tiger feel for sure, but hey, I mean, can't fight him, can you?
Nope.